Hello grade 9 students. Again, this is Teacher Mael and welcome to our video tutorial in Mathematics 9. We are now in quarter 4, week 2. At this time, we are going to focus on trigonometric ratios of special angles. Do you still remember what are these special angles? So we have here the content map so that we will be guided. The 6 trigonometric ratios, and then we're going to apply the trigonometric ratios involving special angles. What are these special angles? These are the 45-45 90 degrees angle and the 30-60 90 degrees angle. The one that we discussed, I hope you still remember about the right triangle theorem. So we will be using those concepts at this time. Let's have a review first on this two special right triangle theorem. So we have here 45-45 90 degrees. We need to recall on how to find the length of the sides of this triangle so that we can apply this in finding the 6 trigonometric ratios at this time. So to recall, in a 45-45 90 degrees triangle, the legs are congruent. As you can see, in this figure, these are the two legs. So if this is x, this is also x. Kaya pareha sila 45 degrees. And the length of the hypotenuse here is square root of 2 times the length of the legs. So since ang leg na to diha is x man, so times square root of 2. So therefore, our hypotenuse here is x times square root of 2. So that is for 45-45 90 degrees right triangle. So we have here the second special right triangle theorem, the 30-60 90 degrees right triangle. Now in a 30-60 90 degrees triangle, the shorter leg is 1/2 the hypotenuse or square root of 3 times the longer leg. Now, if you're going to look at this figure, this is 30 degrees. This is the opposite side is the shorter leg. We have here the 60 degrees. The opposite side will be the longer leg, and opposite the right angle is always the hypotenuse. Now, it states here that the shorter leg is 1/2 of the hypotenuse. So, if this is our leg, so since we have if our hypotenuse is 2x, so therefore, our shorter leg is x. Okay? Or if the given is the longer leg, so your shorter leg will be square root of 3 over 3 times the longer leg. So we discussed that before. I hope you still remember, or you may scan your notes on that. Then second, the length of the hypotenuse is twice the length of the shorter leg. So bali-bali ra. Kung ang shorter leg katunga siya sa hypotenuse, so therefore, the length of the hypotenuse is twice the length of your shorter leg. So, iyang kaduhaon ang gitason sa imong shorter leg. And letter C, you have there, the length of the longer leg is equal to square root of 3 times the shorter leg. So, mao na siya kung ang shorter legs nimo x, or shorter leg nimo is x, so times square root of 3, so x square root of 3. So, kung 5 na siya diha, so 5 square root of 3. So, mao na siya itong na-discuss. I hope na remember pa because we'll be using this one in our next lesson. Example number 1. Given there, a 45-45 90 degrees right triangle, you're going to solve for T and R. And at the same time, you're going to give or find the 6 trigonometric ratios. Since this is a 45-45 90 degrees, so always remember that the length of our legs are congruent. So if this measures 8, so kung 45 man na siya, the meaning to say, the two legs are just the same. So if this is 8, so therefore, our T is equal to 8. And what about our R? This is our opposite of right angle. This is our hypotenuse. And how do we find the length of the hypotenuse? That is leg times square root of 2. So since our leg is 8, so therefore our hypotenuse or our r here, our r is equal to, how much is that? 8 square root of 2. Okay, so so that you will be guided sa ato isot dire. This is 8, then your r is 8 square root of 2. Now, since we already have the length of the legs and the hypotenuse, at this time, we're going to proceed now to, or in finding the 6 trigonometric ratios. So, we are going to find, let's have sine theta. So, what is our angle here? Sine 45 degrees. So, how do we find for sine 45 degrees? Sine, this is so. Opposite over hypotenuse. So, pariharam na siya 45, 45. Magpili ra ka diha. Opposite, you have ila? You have 8 over the hypotenuse, which is 8 square root of 8 square root of 2. Now, as you can see, na 8 diri sa babaw, nasa 8 sa ubos. So, pwede siya makancel. So, ang mahabilin diha sa babaw, understood na nga na ay 1, then over square root of 2. Now, since there's still a radical sign below, so we have to rationalize. So, times, around ma-perfect square ang square root of 2. So, times square root of 2 over square root of 2. So, 1 times square root of 2, that is square root of 2 over 2 times 2, that is 4. And square root of 4 is 2. So, therefore, your sine 45 degrees is square root of 2 over 2. Okay. Next, we have the cosine 45 degrees because our theta here is 45 degrees. So, cos, that is adjacent over hypotenuse. So, still, ang adjacent side niya, pareha man, 8 raman gihapon, niya over 8 over the hypotenuse, which is 8 over square root of 2. So, kung ato ni siyang isimplify, as you can see, parehas ra siya sa sine o ang cosine. So, still, that would be square root of 2 over 2. Okay. What about our tangent? What about tangent 45 degrees? Opposite over adjacent. So, kung kani siya, iyang opposite is 8. Iyang adjacent is 8. So, pila man na? 8 divided by 8, that is equal to 1. So, therefore, tangent 45 degrees is equal to 1. Okay. What about its reciprocal or its inverse? So, ato butang diri. What is the inverse of sine 45 degrees? That is cosecant okay. Cosecant, this is not pa. Okay, cosecant 45 degrees. So, inverse naman siya diri. So, if this is square root of 2 over 2, so atong balihon, that would be 2 over square root of 2. Unya, tanggalon man na nato ang radical sign. So, rationalize, multiply both numerator and denominator by square root of 2. So, 2 times square root of 2. So, you have here 2 times square root of 2. Itupad lang. Then, 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. Okay? Now, as you can see, na 2 diri, nasa 2 diha. We can divide it, no? We can cancel that, meaning 1 na lang na siya. So, unsay mahabilin? Only square root of 2. So, therefore, cosecant 45 degrees is square root of 2. What about secant 45 degrees? secant 45 degrees. Secant is the inverse or reciprocal of cosine 45 degrees. So, still, as you can see, square root of 2 over 2 gihapon, pareha sa sine 45. So, meaning, secant 45 degrees is still equal to square root of 2. What about the reciprocal of tangent? The reciprocal of tangent is cotangent. So, what is the reciprocal of 1? Understood 1 over 1. So, kung bisag mo pa ng balihon, that is still equal to 1. Okay. So, kung moingon gani, what is the value of sine 45 degrees? You will say square root of 2 over 2. Cosine 45 degrees, square root of 2 over 2. Tangent 45 degrees, that is equal to 1. Cosecant 45, that is square root of 2. Secant 45 degrees, that is square root of 2. And cotangent 45, that is equal to 1. Okay? I hope nasabtan. We have here example number 2. Solve for the values of x and y, and at the same time, we're going to find the 6 trigonometric ratios using its values. So, remember how to find for the shorter leg and the longer leg when the given right triangle is 30, 60, 90 degrees triangle. So, special gihapon na siya. So, how are we going to solve for our x? Our x here is the opposite siya sa 30 degrees. So, this is the shortest or the shorter leg. And how do we solve for the shorter leg? That is 1/2 of your hypotenuse, or hypotenuse here is 12. So, therefore, our x, that is 1/2 of 12. Kaya atong hypotenuse is 12. And what is 1/2 of 12? That is 6. So, therefore, our x is 6. So, 6 na siya diha. And how do we find for the longer leg? Longer leg is equal to the shorter leg times square root of, ilan to? Square root of 3. So, our y here, that is equal to shorter leg, which is 6, times square root of 3. Okay? So, this is 6 times square root of 3. Okay, now, since we have now the values of our shorter leg and longer leg, now we can find now the 6 trigonometric ratios. So, in finding the 6 trigonometric ratios, unahon usa na to ang kay duha man ni siya, natay 30 degrees, nasa day 60 degrees. So, shall we have first the 6 trigonometric ratios of 30 degrees? So, we have here sine 30 degrees. Okay? So, sine 30 degrees meaning opposite over hypotenuse. So, the opposite of 30 is 6, or akong ikuan ha, x over, shall we say, hypotenuse nimo. That is h. Your 12 is, shall we say, h na siya hypotenuse. So, that would be your x. This is your opposite. So, you have here 6 over 12. You simplify. 6 over 12, that is equal to 1/2. So, therefore, sine 30 degrees is equal to 1/2. Okay. Next, let's have sa cosine 30 degrees. Unsa man to ang cosine, di ba? Ka meaning adjacent. This is 30 degrees, so adjacent. That is y over the hypotenuse. So, our y here is 6 square root of 3 over the hypotenuse, which is 12. Now, as you can see, you have here 6 and 12. So, pwede na nato siya masimplify. What is their greatest common factor here? 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So, unsa na lay nahabilin? So, you have square root of 3 over 2. So, cosine 30 degrees is equal to square root of 3 over 2. Next, let's have the tangent. Let's have tangent 30 degrees. That is TOA, opposite over adjacent. So, x over y, opposite man. So, you have 6 over adjacent, which is 6 square root of 3. Okay. Now, as you can see, na 6 sa babaw, na 6 diri. So, meaning, i-reduce na to, cancel, understood nga na pay 1 sa ibabaw. So, ang habilin is 1 over square root of 3. So, we have to eliminate this square root of 3. So, let's rationalize. Multiply both numerator and denominator by square root of 3. So, 1 times square root of 3, that is square root of 3. And square root of 3 times square root of 3, that is square root of 9. And square root of 9 is equal to 3. So, therefore, tangent 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 3. What about its reciprocal or its inverse? What is the inverse of sine 30 degrees? That is cosecant 30 degrees. Kung 1/2 siya diri, so unsay reciprocal sa 1/2? That is 2 over 1 or 2. So, atong idiretso. Sa ato pa, ang cosecant 30 degrees is 2. Kay inverse siya sa sine 30 degrees. What is the inverse of cosine? That is secant. So, secant 30 degrees. Pila man ang cosine diri? Square root of 3 over 2. So, get the reciprocal. You have there 2 over square root of 3. Now, since na may radical sign sa ubos, so ato ng tangtangon, so we have to rationalize. Multiply both by square root of 3. So, 2 times square root of 3, so that is 2 square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3, that is square root of 9. And square root of 9 is equal to 3. So, therefore, secant 30 degrees is 2 times square root of 3 over 3. Okay. What about the opposite of tangent? Okay, it is cotangent 30 degrees. Tangent 30 degrees is 3 over square root of 3. Ang atong gibali na to. So, ang square root of 3 na nasa ubos, ang 3 na nasa bawah. Inverse naman siya. Then, rationalize. Aron matanggal ang radical sign sa denominator. Okay. Atong gi-multiply yan sa square root of 3 o square root of 3 para ma-perfect square siya, ma-extract na to ang iyang radical sign yung square root. So, 3 times square root of 3 over square root of 3 times square root of 3, that is square root of 9, and which is equal to 3. Now, as you can see, 9 3 diha, 9 3. So, we can divide 3 divided by 3. Gi-cancel siya because that is equal to 1. So, 1 times square root of 3, or you can write only square root of 3. Okay? So, we have here now the 6 trigonometric ratios for 30 degrees. So, sine 30 is 1/2. Cosine 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Tangent 30 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Cosecant 30 is 2. Secant 30 degrees is 2 square root of 3 over 3. And cotangent 30 degrees is square root of 3. Bisag ilisan pa na nimo diha ang length sa shorter leg o sa longer leg, sa hypotenuse, mausa pa na siya. Inig-simplify na to ana niya in this, using these 6 trigonometric ratios. Still, ang value ana niya sa sine 30, maura gyapon ni siya 1/2 niya kana, it follows kana siya. Ano man, kay special man siya, no? So, gitawag siya og special. Okay? Now, shall we have the 60 degrees? So, since we're done with 30 degrees, we will proceed now in finding the 6 trigonometric ratios of 60 degrees. So, let's have sine 60 degrees. So we have sine 60 degrees. So kay 60 degrees naman siya, so kani, so our opposite will be 6 square root of 3, then adjacent will be 6, and still our hypotenuse is 12. So sine 60, that is opposite over hypotenuse, so you have your y and your h. So your y is equal to 6 square root of 3 over hypotenuse, which is 12. Now, we can reduce 6 and 12 divided by 6. Now, we can cancel. 6 divided by 6 is 1. So, ang mabilin is only square root of 3. And 12 divided by 6, that is 2. So, therefore, sine 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Okay. Next, we have cosine 60 degrees. Cosine, that is ka, adjacent over hypotenuse. So, your adjacent, that is x over hypotenuse. Your x is equal to 6 and hypotenuse is 12. Then, reduce 6 over 12, that is equal to 1/2. Divide both by 6. So, cosine 60 degrees is 1/2. Next, we have the tangent. So, we have tangent 60 degrees. So, TOA, opposite over adjacent. Opposite, so you have y over adjacent, which is x. So, your y is 6 square root of 3 over your x, which is 6. So, 6 og 6. So, you can divide that. You can cancel. So, ang mabilin is only square root of 3. Okay? What about its inverse? What is the inverse or reciprocal of sine? So, we have the cosecant. So, cosecant 60 degrees. So, kung ang sine is 2 square root of 3, so ang secant, diretso na lang nato, that would be 2 over square root of 3. Then, rationalize, aron matangtang ang radical sign sa ubos. So, we have 2 square root of 3. 3 times, square root of 3 times square root of 3, that is square root of 9. And square root of 9 is 3. So, therefore, cosecant 60 degrees is 2 square root of 3 over 3. Next, let's have secant. Secant 60 degrees. Okay. If our cosine 60 degrees is 1/2, and if this is the reciprocal, so what is the reciprocal of 1/2? Okay, so 2. Diretso na siya. And the opposite of tangent is cotangent. So we have cotangent 60 degrees. So, unsa man to ang cotangent, kung ang tangent na to is square root of 3, understood na siya nga over 1. Sa ato pa, ang cotangent is 1 over square root of 3. Then, rationalize. So, multiply both numerator and denominator by square root of 3. Then, you have 1 times square root of 3, that is square root of 3. In square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 9. And square root of 9 is 3. So, therefore, our cotangent 60 is square root of 3 over 3. So, ato pa, sine 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine 60 degrees is 1/2. Tangent 60 is square root of 3. Cosecant 60 is 2 square root of 3 over 3. Secant 60 is 2. And cotangent 60 is square root of 3 over 3. So, again, bisag ilisan pa na nimo diha og length ang shorter ug ang longer leg og diha sa side. Kung i-simplify nato siya, still the same pagyapon ang result sa sine 60, cosine 60, tangent 60, cosecant 60, secant o cotangent 60 because they are special angles. Okay? Okay, since na-find na nato ang 6 trigonometric ratios of a 30 degrees angle, 45 degrees angle, o 60 degrees angle. Giapil na lang po na ko ang 90 degrees angle diha sa atong table. So, atong i-summarize so that it would be easy for you to remember, or it would be easy for you to memorize the values. So, let's have it here. How much is our theta? We have here the angles, and we have here the 6 trigonometric ratios. So, sine 30 degrees, that is equal to, pila man to? That is equal to 1/2. And cosine 30 degrees, that is square root of 3 over 2. Katong base atong gi-compute ganina sa example. What about tangent 30 degrees? That is square root of 3 over 3. And cosecant 30 degrees, that is 2. Secant 30 degrees, that is 2 square root of 3 over 2. Then, cotangent 30 degrees, that is square root of 3. Okay. What about sine 45 degrees? That is square root of 2 over 2. Cosine 45 degrees, so 45 degrees naman, so pareha raman na sila og leg, so the same ra pud ilahang value. What about tangent? Tangent 45 degrees, that is equal to 1. And what is cosecant 45 degrees? Ang reciprocal na niya. So we have here square root of 2. And then secant is still equal to square root of 2. And reciprocal of tangent, 1 ra gihapon. Okay. What about 60 degrees? Sine 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 2. Cosine 60 degrees is 1/2. Tangent is square root of 3. Okay, di na mo agi. So, we have here tangent 60 degrees is square root of 3. And cosecant 60 degrees is 2 square root of 3 over 3. Secant 60 degrees is inverse of cosine. Okay, 1/2 man na. So, 2 na lang siya. Then, the inverse of square root of 3. So, we have here, cotangent 60 degrees is square root of 3 over 3. Okay, so ako na lang pong gi-appeal ang 90 degrees. So, sine 90 degrees, that is 1. And cosine 90 degrees is 0. Then, you have here tangent that is not defined. Okay. And cosecant is 1. And, okay, that is not defined. Okay, kung balihon na nato ang 0, na naman sa, kanos aman to siya not defined, kung ang 0 naa sa denominator. Okay. Any number divided by 0. Okay. So, any number divided by 0 is undefined na siya. No, kung ang 0 na sa denominator, mo nang ma-undefined siya. Okay? So, for cotangent, inverse siya diri. So, pila naman ni siya. So, ma-0 na ni siya. Okay. Okay, so you have there the table. Naasa na sa inyong modules. So, you can study those and you can memorize para dali na lang ang pag-solve during sa atuang application. So, we have here example 3. Find the value of tangent square 60 degrees minus sine square 30 degrees. Now, kabalo naman ta, pila ang value aning tangent 60 degrees o sine 60 degrees. So, ato na lang i-substitute ang iyang value para ma-find yun na to kung pila ang value ana niya in figure. Okay? So, let's have the solution. So, tangent square 60 degrees minus sine square 30 degrees. Okay. Pila man to ang value ni tangent 60 degrees? That is square root of 3. Okay, tanawa sa table. Tangent 60 degrees is square root of 3. But as you can see, ang tangent na siya square. Gi-square siya na siya exponent of 2. So that also means na ang square root of 3 ato sa na siyang i-raise to the power of 2. Minus sine 30 is equal to 1/2. Okay, replace na to siya og 1/2. Ya kay naman siya square sa ibabaw, so butangan sa nato siya og square. Then you simplify. Square root of 3 times square root of 3, pila man na siya? Square root of 9. And square root of 9 is 3. Or you can cancel kanang radical sign o kanang 1/2 because your radical sign is just equal to the exponent 1/2. Okay, so pila na lang mabilin? Say 3 na lang. Okay. What about 1/2 times 1/2? 1/2 times 1/2? Pila? Sige, nalimot na. 1/2 times 1/2. Meaning, 1 times 1, 2 times 2. So, meaning to say, that is 1/4. Okay. So, pila man na si 3 minus 1/4? Okay. So, sige, let us recall. Okay. Understood nga ang 3 over 1. So, find the LCD. So, pwede na gina siya tinambanon. 3, gikwag 1/4. So, pila na lang? 2 na lang siya kapin. 2 and 3/4. So, para ma-review, so, okay, let's find for the LCD. So, we have here 4. 4 divided by 1, 4. Times 3, you have 12. Then, copy the operation minus. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 12 minus 1, lain sa gigikabaw. So, that is 11 over 4. So, you have there 11 over 4. Or, kung gusto ka i-simplify into mixed number, so, divide 11 by 4. That is, pila? Pila man na siya? 2. 2 and 3/4. Okay. So, mao na siya ang value sa tangent square 60 degrees minus sine square 30 degrees. Okay. Okay, let's have another example. Find the values of cotangent square 30 degrees, secant square 45 degrees, plus cosecant square 45 degrees times cosine 60 degrees. So, the same sa previous example na to, ato ra tan-awon sa table kung pila ang value ana nila to find kung pila jud ang value tanan kung i-add nato siya. So, cotangent, pila man to ang cotangent 30. So, tan-awa sa table, cotangent 30 is square root of 3. So, atong i-replace. So, we have here square root of 3. Kaya naman siya square, so ato siyang i-square. Tupad ba ng duha, meaning times ni ang value sa cotangent 30 times the value of secant 45 degrees. So, pila man na si secant 45 degrees, that is square root of 2. So, that is square root of 2. Na may siya square, so i-square sa nato. Plus, the value of cosecant 45 degrees, that is square root of 2 gihapon, kaya naman siya square at ang square, times the value of cosine 60 degrees, that is 1/2. Wala man siya square sa cosine, so dili sa nato square ang 1/2. Okay, next, atong i-simplify o ginahinay. Square root of 3 squared, so you can cancel that. So, ang mahabilin kay si 3 na lang. Then, 2 square or square root of 2 times square root of 2, that is square root of 4, and square root of 4 is 2, or you can cancel na lang diretso diha. So, ang mahabilin, si 2 na lang. Plus, kana siya, again, i-cancel na siya. So, si 2 na lang, times, you copy 1/2. Okay. Pila man ni ang 3 times 2? That is 6. Plus, pila man ni si 2 times 1/2? 2 times 1 is 2 divided by 2 is 1. Or pwede makancel si 2 o si 2 nga nasa numerator ka na, denominator man na. So, ang mahabilin is only 1. So, 6 plus 1 is 7. Hindi na maagi. Okay, 7. So, therefore, the value of cotangent square 30 degrees times secant square 45 degrees plus cosecant square 45 degrees times cosine 60 degrees is 7. So, I hope nasabtan ra. Okay, now, always remember the values of the special angles kay maura jud na ang iyang mga values kay bisan ilisan pa na nato ang mga measures sa kada legs or sides sa katong triangle, special triangles, that's 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90 right triangles. Inig-simplify sa answer, same ra gyud na siya. No? So, you study the table. If possible, you memorize it. You memorize each value because we will be using them later in solving problems that involves trigonometric ratios. Now, I hope you learn and understand about our discussion. So, continue practicing. But, of course, once you answer, it should be with love aron makasabota. Ha? Okay, so continue studying and practicing dahil sa math, ang buhay ay aangat. Again, this is Teacher Mael at your service. Thank you for watching. God bless everyone.